Hi, everybody. We are back for the next session at the Global Party 2017, Healing from the Inside Out, and you are going to be in for another treat. I mean, one treat after the other. This is like in dessert heaven. We have Melody Chadamoyo, originally from Zimbabwe, now living in Ireland, and she's going to be talking about connecting with the melodies of your heart. And when I asked Melody what song inspires her, her response was
Alive by Celine Dion.
So let's wake up now, everybody. We're going to listen to a little bit of that and get ready, get alive, because here we go.
I get wings to fly. Oh, I'm alive. Yeah. When you call on me, that's right. When I hear you breathe, I get wings to fly. I feel that I'm alive, and so are you. Yeah. When you look at me, I can touch the sky and know that I'm alive. How you doing tonight? How about up there? How about over there? Oh, come on, let me hear you all.
She's great, everybody. How is it? I'm alive.
Hi. Yes.
So what is it that brought you into this new realm of being alive? What was the transformation that occurred in your life that now you're helping people find the melodies of their heart?
There have been many times when I've needed to do this, but the last time that drove me to be doing the work I'm doing now, my husband died in 2008. And he was my best friend. He was, the best part of me. I loved him with everything I had. And I lost myself after he died. I couldn't find myself. And one of my biggest worries was that I wouldn't be able to feel joy again. So I worked really hard. I meditated, I read books, I went to therapy, I listened to music, I stopped watching the news, I started watching comedies. I did everything humanly possible to get myself back because I realized that I was alive. He was gone, but I wasn't. And I have an obligation because I'm alive to live a full and happy life. So here I am.
Wow, that's awesome because it's true, right? If he was you said better part of you, it's not even like he's your best friend, but you really felt he was the better part of you. To lose that, you really needed to rebirth yourself to a new level of aliveness.
Yes, and that's very true. I initially, as I was going through the grief, I actually felt like I was extracting myself and my soul from him. And that took a long time. And then finding who I am as a single person, I met him when I was 19, when I was really young. And he was always there, in my life. Not having that and trying to figure out who Melody is, what does she do, who does she represent? I never thought of those things, not in that way anyway. And that journey took me to realize that there's more to life than just this.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do you feel your husband around you?
Sometimes. Initially, I did a lot. I think he couldn't just leave me because I couldn't cope. And he knew it wasn't going to be easy for me. Right. So he stuck around for the first, the first 2 weeks, because we took him back home to Zimbabwe, to his parents and to everybody else on his side of the family and to mine as well. And so for 2 weeks, we waited for the arrangements to be done, and he was there with me. And when we got there and we were preparing for his burial and stuff, I would have to think, why are we saying he's dead? He's still here. I could feel him everywhere. And it was so confusing for me, but really comforting, because that experience carried me through him getting buried. And then when I got back home, when I got to the door and I opened the door, I felt that he was gone. That's when the whole breaking up part happened, and I couldn't get up, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't taste food. I was just a shell of myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So in a sense, it was like you had to, like, the idea of who you were had to die,
Yes.
and you rebirthed into this new melody,
Yes.
and you're connecting with your own heart and sharing your gifts to the world.
Yes. I started looking back actually at what made us such a special couple. Why it had so much to let him go, and what was so special about our relationship. Because through talking to my therapist and stuff, she one day just said, "Do you realize how amazing your relationship was?" And I said, "Oh, I thought everybody had an amazing relationship." She said, "No, no, they don't." But I was so into it that I saw people struggling, but I just thought it was for a short time. So when I started looking at what worked, I went back to the time we met, how much I felt for him, to the time when we came to Ireland and we were struggling and we almost got a divorce, to the time when I started waking up as a woman, to be me as a woman, to be feeling feminine and accepting my feminine elegance, as I call it,
Right.
and then connecting with him at a deeper, more fun level, where I was more confident, where I could say I don't like something without having to fight, where I acknowledged my own strengths and his, and we just blossomed as a couple. So when I discovered those gifts, I decided those are the gifts I'm going to share with the world. The how to do that.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you can just look over here, and I'll just talk about North America. The divorce rate is skyrocketing, and many people will say that's because the women have become so much more spiritual. I think there's a whole personal a rebalancing going on between feminine and masculine energy right now.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
it's in each of us. So, it's finding that balance in here, and then that enables us to have this great relationship that you're obviously helping others to manifest.
Yes. Yeah, I think for me, it was more, I didn't accept being feminine for my earlier life. Anyway, from my earlier life, I preferred to be a tomboy. I called myself I was a tomboy.
Yep.
And I don't use that term anymore to describe myself. I'm not into makeup and lipstick and I love high heels sometimes. I dress up for comfort, but things that make me feel great, and all that is feminine. And we all define ourselves differently. Some like high heels, some like jeans, some like t-shirts, some like, sometimes we change. And that's the beauty of being a woman. We have so much variety.
We do.
Yes. And I love that. But there's also this masculine traits that we have been trained, like going to school, focusing, and doing all these things that make us uncomfortable, but we drive ourselves because we have to achieve. We have to do the best that we can, and we're capable of doing it. Mm-hmm. We are just not supposed to do it the masculine way.
Yes.
I don't agree we should do it that way. There's a better way.
I am so with you, because I was like the same thing with you. I was very much masculine energy, and because I didn't want to be like a woman that I thought was had no power. So I
Mm-hmm.
fell into the feminist movement in that sense of doing the masculine role. I was excellent at my career, right? But it was done in a masculine way and not a feminine way. It wasn't me owning myself. It was me,
Mm-hmm.
female, trying to be a male. And I think it's entirely different in balancing your energies now. It's allowing that action that happens in the masculine energy, but we are a feminine.
Yeah, exactly. And then the difficulty now comes when you leave your job and you're going home to a man, and you are in that masculine energy. When you approach each other, you're already in competition, because men are competing every time. That's not how we relate to each other. We don't do it that way. So when you get home and you're still the masculine, maybe you're a boss or whatever, and you come home and you start speaking to him like that, then you're in conflict.
Yeah.
You're not in partnership anymore, because he feels challenged, so he needs to defend himself. And the quarrel goes, and you think he's not listening to me, and he's thinking she's not listening to me, and nobody is listening to anybody, and you're both miserable. And we think, okay, the solution is to go and find somebody else who will listen. But that is not the solution, because you go through that with the next person and the next person and the next person, or you settle for being unhappy.
I'm raising my hand because I had one, which I never was going to get married, and I got married, and then second time came around, and I was determined to make that one work. And there was a point where, because I was just determined, that I had to sit there and think to myself, I am feeling the exact same way as in my first marriage.
Mm-hmm.
The guys are entirely different, like totally different. The only common ingredient is me.
It's not the guy.
That was, my kids were little. I had to go, it's not them, because I'm the ingredient. You got to work here. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. There's work to be done. Like, part of the reason why I'm so passionate about this is nobody tells you what the work is. People talk about marriage being work. They tell you it's very difficult, it's tough, it's complicated. Nobody defines the work you need to do.
Right.
Everybody talks about it. So my mission is to define the work, simplify it, and make life more joyful. That's what I do.
And it's just so easy, everybody. Just listen to that, right? It's and you can see, that's the point, is joy is the highest vibration, right? So when we're happy, we are open to ways to heal. So what would be, besides the fact, if there's two people that they're obviously, in a relationship and they know they're struggling, that's an opportunity. But as now a single woman who is happy to be single, is if there was a woman who was single who was wanting to find a relationship, can they come to you to do their inner work?
Yes, they can. Because I think every woman needs to heal. Mm-hmm. To heal the men are scary men, because we are raised to fear men. From the time, I don't know about you, but in Zimbabwe, if you're a girl and you start developing boobs, you're told to stay away from men, to stay away from boys, to conserve your safety, which means there's an element of fear there already. You start looking at men with suspicion. There is a reason for it, obviously, but it doesn't prepare you for meeting the good guys, for dealing with the good guys. So from a very young age, you already have a defense against them. That needs to heal, so that you see men as people, as humans who have feelings and emotions, and who need love and acceptance and compassion, so that they can also, because they have a problem connecting to their own emotions, they can identify them. And our role as women is to help them to reach to that inner core of themselves, and also pluck out the love and the passion to be better and to do greater things. That's the helping that everybody talks about, that women are there to help. That's the help we give to them. And so when a woman has not done that work, she's not capable of meeting another person, man or woman, to be in that role and to give that energy or that beauty that the other side needs.
Yes, no, and that's so true, because what a lot of very strong women, they may attract a more sensitive man, but yet they immediately, step away because he's too sensitive, right?
They disrespect him.
Right? But he has some feminine energy or some sensitivity because he's balancing it out. But they're like, well, you don't fit into my role model. And I know that was one thing I had to look back on and say, wow, the really, really nice guys were like, they're too nice.
Yeah.
And for me, I had a series of abuse and I was raped and stuff. So I had that there. And I knew it, but you still, at the time, before that all came up, the nice guys were like, no, they didn't fit because I felt like I needed to be hurt. Right?
No.
Just like you were talking about the fear. If you have the fear, you're attracting the wrong person. Yes. Because you're still holding on to that. So let's just shake that all off now.
Yes, exactly.
Because we're alive.
It's a party after all.
We are alive.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, so who are your ideal clients, for instance?
My ideal clients are women who are single or married for some time, who yearn to have a relationship of partnership with men. And those women usually are professional women, because I find I'm just reimagining myself. Professional woman was a serious overachiever who wants to connect with their softer side so that they can be what the men needs them to be without diminishing their strength or being less of who they really are. That's
beautiful. And to hold that vision is probably first you need to decide you need to make a change. And then is it having the vision of what you want, and then in the process letting go of all the work of the stuff that's in the way between the two, or how does it work?
Well, I think sometimes it's just realizing you are not happy. Because I'm a homing pigeon for joy. I always have been. When I'm not happy, if I'm with a friend and we've spent too much time struggling and fighting, I walk away. So when I got to a point where I knew there was no joy in my life anymore, I felt it was his fault. So I started making plans to leave. I'm organized. I make plans. I made plans that I'm going to do this and this and this, and then I'm going to leave him. And that's what I started doing. But I couldn't leave him because we had a very small baby who was born premature, who also adored her dad.
Right.
So leaving him would have meant punishing my daughter as well. I still wanted to be happy. So I thought, okay, maybe there's another way of doing this. Right. I'm a librarian by profession. So I went into research mode. I got books. I started reading them. That book, Getting the Love You Want, I think was being talked about on Oprah or something. I read it. And Men Are From Mars, Women. I don't even remember the details of those books. But I remember I started not reacting, taking control and taking charge of the energy and the conversation. And I still see my husband's face even today, despite the fact that he's not here with me anymore. The first day when he did something that triggered me and I didn't react.
Yeah.
And he kind of, because he was a genius. He was a very smart man, and he could read me too. So he looked at me and he kind of thought, what's going on there? And then third time, he kind of saw, okay, that's the norm. That's the beauty of men. They fall in line very quickly. Mm-hmm. He started to see that things have changed now. And he started shifting as well, the way he was, relating to me. And all of a sudden, I had so much power. I knew I had so much power. I believed I had so much power to change the whole dynamic of my relationship and my marriage and my home. Without him, because he had said, no counseling, I don't do that. So, so it was all up to me, but it was because I wanted that joy back. And once I got that joy back and we were in line, I'll tell you this now, Jacqueline. After I did the work, mm-hmm. we never had a fight for 6 years.
Wow.
Until he died. We had disagreements. We had conversations where we agreed to disagree, but we never had a fight again.
Okay, so I hear the person in the background saying, yeah, but without the fighting, there isn't the passion because you have the great makeup sex afterwards.
I can safely say my relationship was one of the most passionate relationships ever, because we channeled that energy we had into doing better things. We channeled it. We like, fighting is negative. Fighting it takes something away from you. You have to recover afterwards. There's trauma there when you're nearly fighting for your life, because that's what you end up doing. Somebody says something hurtful, and then the worst part for us women, we don't forget those things. Men do. They forget everything that you have said. We don't. We might say, oh, I've forgiven you, let's make up sex, whatever, but we still carry the words, because words mean so much to us.
Yeah, I think because we have more of a receptive nature in our feminine energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
We receive and we create, that we somehow are more in tune with those word vibrations. And,
yes.
I used to do that thing where I'd smile and say, of course I forgive you, right?
Yeah.
Of course I forgive you. And
yeah. And you're carrying the bag.
The bag, and then at the moment I'll grab and go, aha, see, you said
yes. And then one day he does something so minor, and you take out the bag and start saying, and on this day he did this, and on this day he did this, and on that day he did this. And he's like, what? I thought we got past that. You forgave me. What's going on?
That's exactly.
Yeah, no.
Okay. I'm glad we put that myth aside, so you can still have a great relationship and good sex without no fighting. Okay.
Amazing sex. Not just good, amazing, curl your toes sex.
You heard it here first.
Where you wake up, you both go to work. At 11 a.m., he sends you a text message saying, my God, last night was just something else.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was more than just the melodies of her heart singing there.
Yeah. And this is after 11 years of marriage and another 6 years. We dated for 6 years. We got together, very quickly. So this is not after 2 days or 2 years. This is after a very long time.
Well, and that's the kicker, right? Because to have that heart-to-heart connection in a relationship, you have the track record to know what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Having the quick, intimate relationships that are great for the first 2 years. I always love those ones when they say, I found my soulmate, I'm going to tell you all about it. And you're like, you're 6 months into the relationship. And I go, I was like that too, 6 months into the relationship.
Yeah.
After 5 years or 7.
Yeah. Or 10.
Or 10 or 11.
Yeah.
17.
17, yeah.
17.
And I remember on my 11th wedding anniversary, I was going to pick him up because he didn't drive. And my heart was like, excited. and I because I tune into myself and I ask myself stupid questions. And I said, but why am I so excited? I know this guy. I know everything about him. What's so exciting? But you see, if you allow yourself to connect with a person soul to soul, and you do that dance, and you open up to the heavens, there are higher levels of connecting up there that most people have never discovered because they don't allow themselves to. And
Well,
that's the gem.
that is the gem, because it's just as you exude joy. Like as you said, you know, I love that line. You're a homing pigeon for joy.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a tweetable, you know? I think we'll have to tweet them and catch Melody. She's a homing pigeon for joy.
Joy.
But that's how I feel like for myself now, is when people say, well, how can you be so happy? And it's like, life is just, every moment is so happy. Like I'm the person skipping across the parking lot at the grocery store. You know, I'm singing, I'm greeting, I'm just loving life. And imagine having a second person that feels that same way, that you can share that connection.
Share that. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. I used to dance up the aisles in the supermarket when we went grocery shopping. And he would say, oh, Melody, you've started again. And I'd say, I couldn't help it. My body just goes, Song plays, and it's my name. I don't know, it's something. And I just go, ooh, and I'm enjoying myself. But he loved to see me like that. When I was happy, he was happy. No matter what stuff he was going through, as long as I was happy and his daughter was happy, he was happy.
And a happy man is a great man to have in your life, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
There was nothing he wouldn't do for me. You know how some women complain that they are overworked?
Yes.
I never touched a hoover until my husband died. I'm telling you the truth. He would come home. We both got home from work, and he would say, okay, homework with the girls. I'll be cooking. Sit down, have dinner. And then he would say, I'll take the girls to bed because you're too tired. Don't worry about the dishes. And I'm like, but you can't do everything. Oh, no, it's fine. I just want you to rest because you work too hard. But you've been to work too. I mean, you know, but wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't we want to have a disagreement about how much housework he's doing for you without you needing to ask or complain or nag?
How do people get a hold of you, Melody?
I have a website. It's heartpassioninstitute.com, HTTPS. It is heartpassioninstitute.com. I also have a Facebook page with the same name, Heart Passion Institute. And yeah, that's where you get in touch with me if you are interested in exploring what's possible, in playing with joy, having some fun, because this work is so much fun. Discovering this is woman's right, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonia, we have wow. So there's another woman in the interview. She's a singer, and she has a song that I think I really, you'll hear the story, but there should be a warning label on that song, because you listen to it, something's going to happen. I think if we put the two of you together, it would be such a dramatic shift between your joy and her song, and women would just be like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Exactly what we want them to do, and we're all really joyous. We're healing the world from the inside out.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your really big vision?
My vision is, and it's big, my vision is I really want to reduce the divorce rate. I'll tell you why. I want to reduce the divorce rate because we are all getting lost. Both men and women are getting lost. Mm-hmm. We yearn for connection, for love, for intimacy, a deeper one. And there are levels of intimacy as well that we haven't explored. And no one has really, a few people have tried, like to teach people how to do this work, to connect people. I my vision is to use science, because there's now scientific evidence of how men's brains and women's brains are working,
Right.
to use energy, to use the laws of the universe, like laws of allowing and things like that, to use everything in my power and my own personal experience to show people that having an amazing relationship, one, is possible
Mhm.
and it's easily achievable. That's my mission.
That is beautiful. So I'm like, for me, it's about healing, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and that encompasses every person that's talking, and you're the relationship healer.
Exactly.
And so the connection with the melodies of your heart is really the song that you want to sing, the vision that you have for your life, right? That is, you're allowing them to feel joy in that expression and helping them find themselves and what they truly want.
You know, when I am happy, when everything is okay, my heart sings. I actually feel this. I don't know whether everybody else does, but I do. So, yeah, when I ask you what makes your heart sing,
Mhm.
that's sometimes, like, it's difficult times. It was hearing my daughter giggle for the first time after a long time of going through grief. That little sound, she was upstairs, I was downstairs, but that connected straight to my heart and was, oh, that's great. You know, when I hear something or I see people loving each other, even people I don't even know, connected spiritually, that makes my heart sing. Laughing. I actually not look at comedies or whatever. Sometimes my sister and I do these crazy things and we just make each other laugh so hard. And I that makes my heart sing. I do things that make me want to laugh more, to enjoy more. And that's the connection to my heart. That's the melody. That's the I have no words for that.
No,
The juice. Yeah.
it's and I can just share, because my youngest, she's now 17 and a half, but I pulled her from kindergarten. I brought her home to homeschool, and I remember in that first year just having to say, like, let's do some math or whatever, and she would always sing. She would be and it just always came out of her. And I thought, at that moment in time, if I had put her in school, right, that would have been taught right out of her, because that's
Yes, that was.
her natural effervescent self is to sing. And she's probably composed and written so many songs. You know, I started to say, write them down, because they would continually come, because that's her joyous vibration that was just natural. So you have this natural that
Yeah.
you are living up to your name.
I know. My dad always had a dream that I was going to be a musician. Maybe this is my way of singing.
Well, I think you're doing a wonderful job being the perfect note that you are in the universe. And as each of us plays our own piece, our own note, we create this wonderful symphony of life.
Thank you, Jacqueline. You are doing amazing work as well.
Well,
Thank
we're
you.
doing it together. And this is this great adventure that we're all on, right? Is, you know, we each do our own inner work. We give permission for others to do theirs. And since the whole is in us and we're in the whole, then obviously there's only one choice but to be healed and have more love and joy in the world.
Yes, yes, indeed. I agree.
I am so very grateful that you decided to join us. And I look forward to more connection with you. And make sure, everybody, if you want more joy and you want to really be with your melody, you go to the Love Passion
Heart Passion Institute.
.com. The link will be in below, but there you go, just so you know, and you'll find more joy in your life and really start to sing.
Yeah.
Melodies of your heart.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. I love you too.
Thank you.